we're just going to make a small table decoration to kind of go with the seitan and ackee dish. And we're just going to go for something that's casual, for brunch, lunch design. So we're just going to go for something simple like a jam jar, pickle jar, mayonnaise jar. And I have some jars here, and this one was a pickle jar, and it's been scrupulously cleaned, because if there's any bacteria that's inside of the jar, it will cause the flowers to die quicker. So that's a little tip there for you. And I've got some that have already been decorated, so I think we'll go for this one. And I'll add some water in there. There's already flower food in there that will help your flowers to last longer. And I'm just going to pour it up to about a third, I think. So I'll just top that up there and have that ready on the side. So the flowers that I'm going to go for are tulips, chrysanthemums, and I've got 2 different coloured roses, and I've got some foliage as well to go into the design. And we're just going to make a little posy that's going to be tied. So rather than just arranging it directly into the vase, we're going to make a little posy. So I'm going to start off with a yellow rose, and all the flowers have already been conditioned. That is, they've been drinking some water for quite some time. All the leaves have been cleaned off the stems, so that none of those leaves will be going below the water line. And yes, so that they're ready to go. And I'm right-handed, so I'm putting the first flower in my left hand, and then as I turn to make the small posy, I turn it sort of to the left, and then just give it a little turn, and then just add my flowers as I do so. And then what that will do is it will create a spiral effect, which is what I'm going for, so it looks just like a little hand tied in the design. And what this does is it just keeps all the flowers pre-arranged already in your jar, and just looking gorgeous. And I've got some beautiful tulips here, and these tulips are sort of reddish with a little yellow tinge, so I've gone for colours that will pick out the colours in the dish itself. And if you've got some chrysanthemums and you think, oh, there's one too many heads there, don't feel afraid to just take off maybe one stem and then just, you know, pop that in the design. Always crossing over onto the left and then just giving it a small turn. So I'm just going to keep adding my flowers to the design. And when you do have your flowers and they're all ready, a little tip I've got for you is to don't put them in direct sunlight. That's one of the things that stops them, that causes them to die quicker as well. So there's a few little tips there to get your flowers to last as long as possible. Now for foliage, you can just get some greenery from the garden, or if you've got a neighbour who's very generous and wants to, you know, is trimming their hedge or anything, so you could use like foliage from there as well. And the other name we use is greenery, but as florists we tend to use the word foliage for all our greenery that we're putting in. And I'm going to put the greenery around on the outside because I just want to keep this all flowery on the middle, but you can mix it in if you want to. And I think we're nearly there, so I'll just add maybe one more flower there. And just make sure if you've got any roses with thorns on that you clip those off all already, so that you don't hurt yourself when you're creating your spiral. So I'm just going to go round the design with the foliage, and the foliage I've got today is Pittosporum, but not the variegated type. I've got eucalyptus as well, and I've got pistache. So those are the names that we call them in the UK. You might have some different names somewhere else, because we do have what's known as common names and botanical names. The botanical names are the same all the way around the world, but the common names can be different in different countries. So we've kind of created just like a little posy, and then what we can do is, if we feel that our flowers are just not coming up enough, you just gently go in. I just normally go in with 2 fingers, pull them up because they're a little shy, just meant they've slipped down. And yes, so then you created a posy and with a spiral design, and I've got all the foliage going around. And what I'm going to do now is check my jam jar, and I look at the size of it and I think how low I want it down, and then I'm going to cut my stems off, and then I just kind of hold it to one side and I just kind of clip them at a 45-degree angle, because what that does is it allows the water to be drunk up much more easily with into the stems. So it's really nice to always remember to cut your stems at a 45-degree angle, and that will help them to drink up nicely. So any last little minute adjustments that you want to make, don't be afraid to do so. Now I'm going to tie mine off with some string. I've got some brown string here, but if you've got some raffia, some twine or anything like that, I like to use string because it's simply easy to hold, and there's a couple of ways that you can do it. I normally stick my thumb out, hook it over, and then wrap it round, and then bring it through the thumb, and then I just kind of tighten it that way, and then I go around a few times. Now you don't want to tighten the stems too tight because you don't want to damage the stems at all, but tight enough so it will hold it in place. So that's all we need to do. Just wrap it around a couple of times, and then I'm just going to tie a knot. And what you can do with that is over the string you can add a bit of decorative ribbon, and that would look really lovely. And there you go, the posy can stand up, and decorative ribbon or anything like that around the stems. I'm just going to cut just a little bit more because I just want it to be, yes, I think we are good to go here. So if you want to, you can loosen it as well. And if you still think, oh, that's too proud, we can go in again. So, don't worry if your stems look too long and you want it lower down into the vase. That's more little trial and error to make sure that your flowers are sitting beautifully in there. And then I think that is a nice size for me, sitting lovely in there. And what I'll do is we're going to go and dress the table with the design. So now we have our design on the table, and then we can just bring in the gorgeous seitan and ackee dish. We'll just layer that up with some juice. We'll bring in our cutlery. And we've done just a little sprig from the design of pistache on the napkin as well. And that finishes up the design, which picks out the colours of the dish and looks absolutely gorgeous.